this Nuggets Wolves series is
Mm.
really turning into something special. Just the fifth time in NBA history, a team drops 2 games at home and then goes back and wins the next 2 games on the road. All 5 of those times previously, the team that lost the first 2 games won the series.
Yes, because
So
they were the better team at home court. So checks out.
yes,
Yeah.
but it's starting to get kind of scary hours for the Timberwolves after a great start. What did you guys make of this game, and where do you think the series is headed?
I don't mean to sound cliche ass like a cliche ass motherfucker, but it was really some heart of the championship we saw from Minnesota these last 2 games, flat out. We saw a team that has been here before, that knows the pace of how you have to play and to win playoff basketball, that knows the little things you have to do, like the shit that Jokic was doing tonight after he had fucking game 2 in Denver was probably the worst playoff game I ever saw from Jokic.
Maybe
And
the worst
the
game.
math, yeah,
You know what I
and the
mean?
masterclass he put on tonight, where he was just controlling the tempo, like he was, he was making his reads when he caught the rock. He was running invert pick and rolls with Jamal Murray. There were times where we saw Jokic being a fucking slasher and finishing with a dunk, after a running start. Like, bro, like he just reminded us he's the best fucking player in the world. He controlled the whole tempo. It was just a masterclass. So, like I said, it was some shit where we saw, like, yeah, the Timberwolves are great. They're talented. They play great team ball, but it's just levels of this shit come playoff basketball. And we saw a fucking championship team out there these last 2 games.
And also there was moments when they were playing where like it seemed like the Timberwolves got kind of thirsty. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm seeing
Mhm.
like Kyle Anderson, dribble the air out the ball and then force a bad shot. Like, bro, you know what I'm saying? We saw Cat force a few at the beginning too when they started getting into that hole and the Nuggets started coming back. So I think the big difference was really Cat. Somebody brought up it's probably a difficult day for him. So, bro, fuck it. I get, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, but I think that was a big difference for him. They didn't have like on some nights he's their best offensive player, and he just didn't have it tonight, and that was rough. But there was just moments when they got away from playing team basketball. Also, that end of the second quarter, I've never seen a half in like that. That felt like some I'm God's favorite nigga. Good luck. It's you versus the universe type shit. So like I don't know, bro. Like that felt bigger than just the end of a half. That felt like some destiny type shit. And I mean, they were at 25 seconds left. They were down 8. They were only down 8. And we saw the 8-0 run in like 19 seconds, which is insane. So
Yeah,
I think those are some big things that were going on in the game that kind of made it hard. But Ed Edwards, bro, that's still a bad man. He did the best he could. He did everything he could, but it was just it seemed like it felt like him versus a championship team. You're not going to win that.
I think what impressed me the most about the Nuggets, and they had this same feeling last year, the Warriors had this same feeling through their whole dynasty, was John and I are both big horror movie fans. Like it feels like Michael Myers, bro, or Jason. Like you're trying to climb out of this 10-point hole. And I thought the Timberwolves played pretty well in the second half. I agree with you. They were kind
Sure.
of gripping some silly shit in the first half. And yeah, there are some major issues with Cat and Gobert. But for the most part, they hit big buckets. Role players hit big buckets. They made plays defensively. And the Nuggets just wore every time, like every booby trap, you're running away, throwing rocks. Like they just kept coming at you, not fast, but like Michael Myers or Jason. I'm just walking at my speed, and there's nothing you can do to affect it. And eventually, I'm gonna catch you. Like
Mm.
that's what it felt like. It just felt inevitable that they weren't gonna be able to climb out of that hole.
And Aaron Gordon found a way to be him again. That's been a big difference. You know what I mean? In the first 2 games, he was kind of quiet. It seemed like he was like, I don't know what I need to do to affect the game. And he figured that shit out. He got back to doing
Yeah.
his dirty work. You know what I mean? He was, 27, 24 points? Big, big difference maker today. So,
Yeah, yeah. It's like we've always said. He is not the best number three in the league, but every postseason he is the best number three in the playoffs, and they need him to be that guy to fucking win a ring for sure.
for sure, for sure.
Um, John brought it up, but we have to talk in detail about that insane moment between Jamal Murray and Kevin Harlan at halftime. I think when you're a little kid, sports feel the way that all stories feel. Like you don't know what's going to happen next. It's, oh, the 8 seed could beat the 1 seed. The 16 seed could win the NCAA tournament. Like, and then the older you get, the more you recognize patterns and you
Mm-hmm.
start to see things ahead of time a little bit. And that to me just
Foreshadowing.
felt like one of those moments as a 40-year-old basketball fan who's been watching this shit for 30 something years. That shit plays after the trophy presentation.
You feel me?
That's
You know
just what
I'm
I thought,
saying?
man.
You feel me? It felt like the climax, you know what I mean, of a movie where like the energy shifts completely. Like, you know what I'm saying? It felt to me, if I immediately thought of what's it called? What's the dude? You got that glow? You know, Bruce Leroy. Bruce Leroy.
Bruce Leroy.
He was fighting Show Enough and he started
Yeah,
glowing.
The
You know
Last
what I'm
Dragon.
saying? Yeah, exactly. The Last Dragon. It felt like that moment. It felt like Nuggets got that glow. They realized, oh, I am that nigga. You feel me? It felt that felt like you said, it's something they play after you get the chip, after you win the chip. You know, that they run that in the real at the end of the season. You feel me?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the prospect. I mean, first of all, okay, look, I mean, I certainly don't think the series is over. I love the moment between Ant and Jamal Murray at the end of the game, kind of clapping at each other. Like, I think whatever happens, this is going to be two or
Two
three
big
really
shit talkers.
entertaining
Jamal Murray
games.
doesn't get enough credit for being a shit talker, but he is one of the biggest shit talkers in the league, as he should be. He's a bad motherfucker, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially this time of year for sure. But so I'm excited to see. How do you guys think this ends? Like, who wins how many games, starting from a 2-2 tie?
I'm thinking Denver in 6.
Ooh, Denver in 6. You think
I
they
think
run off 4 in a row?
Yes, I feel like we saw Minnesota at their best the first 2 games, and then we saw Denver at their best these last 2 games, and Denver's best is still better than everybody's best. I mean, that's what it comes down to me for, bro.
If they ratchet up that defense and Cat can figure it out, I think it's 7, and I think the Timberwolves still definitely have a shot. And the reason I say that too is, even though after that moment we just talked about how special that moment is, that feels really big, but it just after that big moment, and I'm feeling like, woo, it'd be easy for you to just go left and give the fuck up, and and they were fighting to the last second. So I don't know, bro. Amp kept going crazy too. I think it goes 7. I think the Timberwolves still have a shot. I do think the Nuggets pull it off. It's just that experience, man. The first 2 games, it felt like it was a passing of the guard. You know what I'm saying? Now it feels like what we thought initially about the Timberwolves showed up. And what we thought initially about the Nuggets showed up too. Somebody's been here before, another team hasn't. So
I think my read on it is I think the Nuggets win game 5. I think the Wolves win game 6 at home. And then I think game 7 kind of looks like tonight. Ant scores like 48 points, and we all spend the entire game yelling, Cat and Gobert is who we put next to this fucking dude. Like the best, like one of the best 22-year-olds, like performances we've ever seen, like arguably from just about any team sport. But Cat was like and bro, you said it, like it's Mother's Day, lost his mom a couple years ago for sure. But like he and Gobert play like bozos, bro. Like the play where they were fighting for a rebound in a 6-point game with like a minute and a half left, and they're just like, I mean, like 5th graders, like fighting for the rebound. Like you're on the same team.
Yeah. Cat looked as if he just didn't have it tonight. I'm looking to Gobert, and I straight up yelled bozo to the point it scared Somi, and she ran out the room to me. And I'm like, because she was like, what's happening? Like I yelled earthquake or some shit or monster, you know what I mean?
She thought Pennywise the Clown broke into your house.
Feel me? You know what I mean? She took off completely frightened. You feel what I'm saying? Like, bro, like there's moments. It's just like, and I think this is the reason I don't like Gobert. Like, because we talked about it, he figured it out on the D. He figured it out this year. You feel me? But he has no hooping in him. He is not a. This is a basketball player that has no ability to hoop. If he wasn't as tall as he is, like he's in the league because of his height alone, dog. He has no game, period, G. It's like he just is. I do it. I can get this rebound. I can block this shot ever so often. But when the ball, did you see when he had the ball in the paint and he's like, nigga, do you really, yeah, it's no feel. Do you realize where you're at? You're 1,000 feet tall. Jump up and dunk. Nigga, your defender's under the rim, but you have no idea how to play basketball. You feel me? Like, that's what I think I don't like about Gobert is just, I feel like Gobert is just, he has no feel for the game. He's not a hooper in any way, shape, or form. He just is a tall nigga that can play basketball. And I think that's why NBA players don't fuck with him too. You know what I mean? And also he's a weirdo, but anyway.
Yeah, NBA players do not like that guy. But it's just like I was halfway leaning to the side of maybe we're too hard on Rudy. Maybe we
Same.
I was leaning on the side of, because like we discussed, that fucking trade for Rudy looked like the worst trade in NBA history for a moment. And then this season,
and then they were up 2-0.
Right. And then this season, I felt like, okay, we didn't see the vision that Tom Conley had. He knows how to beat Denver, and this is like the team that's best equipped to do that, right? But I don't know, bro. Like the playoffs roll around, and it's just I don't know. And I'm saying this to someone who is trying to find the words to defend Rudy, and I just have nothing right now, bro.
It's crazy because also there was that one clip that went viral from the first game where he like faked out Jokic and broke up the lob, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, defensive genius! He stopped the unstoppable. He did it." And then it took it in a very like LeBron like fashion. It took Jokic 2 games, and he was like, "Okay, I got you. You're done now. It doesn't matter."
Yeah, I mean, I'll give him credit. Like I'll give him credit for being a great defensive player, and he works so well within what they've built as a team. But it just, I mean, kind of similar to the moves that Denver's made to load up, their bench rotation minutes on their more offensive guys. This is the story of the game to me. Your superstar, 22-year-old, was 16 of 25 from the field. He was 5 of 8 from 3. He scored 44 points at home, and you were down by 12 the whole game because no one else on the team scored more than 15 points. Conley was 5 of 12, 15 points. Cat was 5 of 18, 13 points. Gobert, this aspect of it is not his fault. I mean, that's not what he's out there to do. He scored 11 points on 5 shots, but like, that's the story to me. You have to like, and that's Cat. That's Cat's production. And he could not have looked more like John said. He looked like he just didn't have it. But you got to have it, man. It's game 4 at home in the playoffs. You were up 2-0 coming home. You win 1 of 2 at home, and you're fine, right? I mean, like, yes, you still got to put the knife in, but like, you're up 3-1. You're going to have another home game. And they just, I don't know, man. I said this. Someone tweeted this, and it was exactly what I felt, which is I feel really fortunate to not root for a team that dude is on, because it just seems like it would be the most frustrating fucking experience. And I feel for Timberwolves fans, bro, because he's giving you so many moments where you're like, they're going to be unstoppable inside, outside game. And then he gives you games like this where you're like, he's just running into defenders. Like, I mean, he commits the dumbest fucking fouls, and he's dropping his shoulder into dudes that he doesn't even need to drop his shoulder into because he's a foot taller than them. just fucking, you're 10 feet from the basket. Just put the ball in the bucket, bro. I don't know, John. You're such a kind person in the way that you care about Cat. But I was like ready to scream at him the whole game today, bro.
I mean, we're on a podcast talking in front of people.
For sure.
I was probably talking a little different off the podcast, bro. I just, you know what I mean? I'm like, nigga, play some motherfucking ball. You feel what I'm saying? Like, but I could understand what's, the mental part, you know what I mean? And emotional part.
Yeah.
But yeah, G, I mean, there was times when I'm watching them play and it's like, that's a bad shot. You're forcing it for what? That's, like, bro, run some fucking O. It seemed like he was pressing at times he shouldn't, and passive at times he shouldn't be passive either. So, I don't know. It's frustrating, but I think Cat is a hell of a basketball player, bro. Game 2, we saw him, like game 2, game 1, he looked good. But like game 2, we saw like prime Cat, the Cat that gets everybody excited. And then we see this. And even in game 3, I mean, he didn't play as much because they were sitting for the 4th quarter, but just wasn't as aggressive as you think he should be, the energy that he said he should have. So, and didn't play that well either. But yeah, man, I mean, I get the frustration, but like I said, I understand why you'd be frustrated today. I mean, he's still a fucking human.
Yeah. My question to you guys is, Minnesota sports teams don't necessarily have enough fans nationwide that this is a like hugely reported on story or whatever, but is that state haunted, bro? Because if you actually look at the history of Minnesota sports teams, it's about as brutal. It's not just that there's a championship drought. It's like the most heart-wrenching shit over and over and over again for a whole state. And you put this in there too. I mean, Hanif
It's
tweeted,
not over yet, though, man.
It's not over yet, but
It's not
but
over yet, man.
it's not over yet.
Yet.
But whatever happens,
Yet is the key word.
but
Notice
whatever-
no one
it's
said
gonna
it's not
be
over,
over?
period. In the
Because it's gonna-
statement. We all said yet.
yeah, correct. But whatever happens, your team went up 2-0 on the road at the defending champs, came back to your state. All they need to do is win one game. Got slapped in the mouth in game 3.
Understandably,
And
that
couldn't
was
do it
gonna
in
happen.
game 4. Yeah, but like regardless of what happens in the series going forward, and I think we do all feel like the Nuggets are going to win. That's another heart wrencher, bro. Like you came back home and you didn't even have a reason to cheer for the first 6 quarters of those 2 games. There just was nothing happening.
If you start out 6-0 in the playoffs and it ends in 6, like Tyler said, like that is going 100 miles an hour at a brick wall, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, going from the highest point, we are going to be playing the Celtics in the finals. Certain. You feel what I'm saying? Like talking it, and then to we back to being Minnesota. Like, bro, that's rough. I hope they need to get 1 win at least. Make it 7. Because I think that's too heartbreaking for anybody. You know, that change of speed is hard on the heart, man.
These poor motherfuckers.
From 6-0
John's
to
like, get your heart ripped out in
Like
7.
Lamar Jackson out there.
Yeah.
John said, don't get your heart ripped out in 6. Get your heart ripped out in 7.
No,
At least
but
extend.
It's just like, you know what I'm saying? From 6-0 to 6-4, and that's a lot to take on for anybody, bro.
They had Dante Culpepper and Randy Moss on their football team
15
and
and
lost
1.
off a fucking kicker, bro. Like, it's just...
To this day, the second best NFL team I've ever seen that didn't win the championship. Of course, the 2007 Pats are the number 1, but yeah,
sure,
that 15-1 team was ridiculously good, dog.
They were fun. Everyone fucked with them. Everyone played with them on video game. Like, they were a great team. Everyone was rooting for them. Everyone was rooting for the Minnesota Vikings. Like, I don't know, man. Because this is a big deal. Actually, in the history of the sports in Minnesota, them winning a series is a huge deal. Like the Timberwolves. I mean, that's how bad it's been. And again, like you said, you won 6 games in a row. You've won, I think, by an average margin of victory of like 14 points. You're smacking everyone, and then they could potentially lose 4 straight and be out. Like, it's nuts, dude. I don't know.
There was some not on the pod talk, but some like in the group chat and maybe in the production rooms of some other podcasts saying that like if the Wolves play the Celtics in the finals, like they're gonna dominate them. We're like, I am saying I don't want to see Jason Tatum go up against these people, and now they might be packed in a week.
Bro, life comes at you fast. G.
Playoffs are different.
Hey, that bat would come around quick. That rotation be moving, boy. You're putting that back quick. You know?
Yeah, karma do what it do. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, G, that is a hell of a point, bro. Like in a week's time, you go from the top of the world to the bottom, bro. To back being you again.
The NBA playoffs are heating up, and so is the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. With same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. Don't miss out as the NBA postseason winds down.
Oh boy, the playoffs have gotten fun. The Nuggets Timberwolves series is crazy, and we are locked in to see who comes out of Mavericks Thunder as well. And if you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code Jenkins. That's code JENKINS Jenkins for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.